Okay, I just want to talk about squares real briefly today. A lot of you are probably like me and you have these woodpecker squares. These are pretty nice. They're very pretty. They're nice to hang on your wall. They look cool and everything, but they're a little bit problematic. And so I wanted to bring up some other options because in reality, these things are really overpriced. They're very expensive for what you get, and they're aluminum. The problem with aluminum is if you ever drop them, which I have once on the concrete, it puts a pretty good dent in there, and that actually takes the blade out of square. It's small, but it's definitely out of square. And if you try to take this and line this up against something and you've got a little bump out over here, then you're not going to get a good accurate reading. I actually had to go and file this back down once I had that because the aluminum just squishes and displaces pretty easily. So what I did after a while is I bought these squares. These squares are stainless steel. They're made by a company called Kinex, and they're actually really good. They're 1/4 inch thick blades. They're very heavy duty, and they're far more accurate than the Woodpecker square. The Woodpecker square, for example, is when you measure the square, it should be 90 degrees here, and the Woodpecker squares are guaranteed to be plus or minus 85/10,000ths of a degree. But the Kinex squares are plus or minus 3/10,000ths of a degree. So that's 20 times, 25, 30 times almost more accurate than a Woodpecker square. Not only that, a handful of these, 4 or 5 of these, cost as much as one Woodpecker square. They're rock solid, being stainless steel. It's heavy, heavy metal, and if you drop it, it's not going to deform the corner and it's not going to change the square. So I end up using these for everything, and nowadays these just kind of sit on my wall looking good. So it's something you could do for sure if you like them and you have to have that red Woodpeckers look. Now I don't want to slam Woodpeckers entirely. I don't think this is a good value, but I do think a lot of stuff that Woodpeckers sells is fantastic. I think they're innovators, game changers when it comes to a lot of woodworking equipment, and I think you can't go wrong with the vast majority of their stuff. But it's like any company. You know, I'm a big fan of Grizzly. Grizzly makes some tools that are just fantastic, and they make other tools that have issues. And this is a tool that I just think is not that great. It's pretty, but it's just not functional, and it's overpriced. So this is really a better option going with these things. And this is a standard. We call this a tri-square or a machinist square. It allows you to check squareness from something to something else. You can also use it to check, you know, and see if your wood is square. You could use it if you need to you know, if you want to draw a line and make something 90 degrees to an edge. These aren't the best ones for it. They're okay, and I tend to use them a lot. But of course, in order for it to work, this does have to be sloped down at an angle to catch the edge because there's no lip on it like the edge of these Woodpecker squares. You can see these have a little lip right here. But Kinex does make those if you prefer that type of square. And that's nice because then the blade can stay flat and it can still bump up against one edge really nicely. And so that's an option too. And even these are significantly less than the Woodpecker squares. They're all stainless steel as well, and it's a fantastic square. So I'm going to put a link to these in the description down below if you decide you need some squares, you don't have any squares, and you want to get some of these. It's a good value. A lot of times what I'm doing, if I'm gluing up a carcass or something like that, I'll actually use these. I'll put these like on the inside corner, and I'll clamp to this and clamp to this. Being stainless steel, this isn't going to bend. This is a 1/4 inch thick. It takes thousands of pounds of force to bend this, so it's very easy to clamp up a carcass of a cabinet or something like that using these. So these are multi-purpose. I can not only check square, I can use them to clamp things up. You wouldn't want to put the Woodpecker under that much pressure. It's aluminum. It's a 1/4 inch aluminum blade. It's definitely going to flex under pressure. There's just no doubt about it. It's going to flex under pressure. And one more thing I want to bring up is a big square. So if you ever build big, have glue ups, like on the last project we just did was a dresser, and had 3 big maple pieces that were glued up together, and I might want to make a straight line on those. And so a lot of people are tempted to just go and grab like a framer square. Framer squares traditionally aren't very accurate. They can vary quite a lot. They're 20 times less accurate than something like this. But this is actually made by Starrett, and it's not your typical Starrett where you're going to pay, you know, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. These things are only about 30 bucks, made by Starrett. Super accurate. It's made of hardened tempered steel, has a coating on it. I'll put a link to this in the description below. This is a really good woodworker's tool for big pieces that you want to check for squareness. So, and that's basically it. I just wanted to bring up to you some square options that I think are a good value out there. Thanks for watching.